Just testing the audio. Had some issues with it before, so give me a yell. Hey Corey, give me a yell if the audio is a bit off. Sweet, good to know. Here we go.
In 2291, in an attempt to control violence among deep space miners, the New Earth government legalized no-holds-barred fighting. Liandry Mining Corporation, working with the NEG, established a series of leagues and bloody public exhibitions. The fight's popularity grew with their brutality. Soon, Liandry discovered that the public matches were their most profitable enterprise. The Professional League was formed. A cabal of the most violent and skilled warriors in known space, selected to fight in a grand tournament. Now it is 2341. 50 years have passed since the founding of Deathmatch. Profits from the tournament number in the hundreds of millions.
It's pretty
To fight in the Professional League by the Liandry Rules Board.
it's pretty sci-fi, cyberpunky, this intro.
Time has come to prove you are the best. To crush your enemies. To win the tournament.
Oh yeah, what an intro. And now the iconic menu music. Yes. So here we go, Unreal Tournament. Now, this is adjusting my mouse sensitivity. There we go. So this session is going to consist largely of me fanboying over Unreal Tournament. Unreal Tournament came out in 1999, and it was released 10 days before Quake 3 Arena. It was a game that sort of, I guess, redefined the very idea of multiplayer gaming. And of course, I'm having issues with my mouse speed. You got yours in Epic. So I'm just going to jump into a match quickly. Joel, you picked up your copy on Epic. Really? Not Unreal Tournament 2004, was it? Or not the new one, which is Unreal Tournament, essentially the remake. Oh no, mouse speed is all good. So this is one of the famous levels, DM Morpheus. I'm just going to drop out for a second and just mess with my mouse settings. But yeah, anyway, Unreal Tournament was released in 1999 in December, about 10 days before Quake 3 Arena. And it was, it's regarded as the game that, it's regarded as a game that sort of redefined the idea of multiplayer. So the previous title in the series was Unreal, and Unreal was released in '98. And the interesting thing about Unreal was that prior to '98, when it came to first-person shooters, you essentially had you essentially had one game that dominated everything. One developer that dominated everything, and that was ID Software. ID Software, I don't know what's going on with my mouse. This is weird. I didn't have this issue like 5 minutes ago. So ID Software created Quake. They created Doom, and they were the gods of multiplayer, of first-person shooters. And then in 1998, all of a sudden you had a game called Half-Life showed up on the scene. And then you had a little game called Unreal that showed up on the scene. You had games like Kingpin. You had all these different shooters suddenly appearing almost out of nowhere. And the odd thing was that all of a sudden, ID Software, they'd sort of grown comfortable in their lead, suddenly they were not so safe in their position. So Quake 1 and Quake 2 were, top-notch sort of, multiplayer games. Sorry guys, I'm just sort of mucking around a bit. I don't know what's going on with this mouse. Let's try it in windowed mode, see what happens. So I spent some time messing with sound settings, trying to get them working, and mouse was working, and now the mouse is not working so great. All right, we'll stick with windowed mode for now. It seems to be working a little bit better for me. Sweet. So where was I? Okay, so Quake, it was 1998. Quake 2 was dominating the multiplayer scene, but Quake 2 still had a single-player game mode. And then in 98, both ID Software and this new upstart developer, Epic Games, they announced that they were going to be doing a shooter of their own. But the shooter they announced was going to be 100% multiplayer. It would have a bot match, but that was it. And it was pretty revolutionary back then to have this. I'm just going to play this level because it's one of my favorite custom levels for Unreal Tournament. And as a result of the decision to move to entirely multiplayer, it came with a huge amount of development into solid multiplayer network code, development of all these sort of arena type levels. And it put the games industry on notice. It essentially said, multiplayer is a thing, get on board or you'll be out of business before you know it. And the way you know that is the two biggest players in the industry are currently doing it. And my mouse settings are still freaking all over the shop. So, what made UT so damn good? What made UT 99 so damn good as opposed? Yeah, I'm back. Audio's back. I'm sort of a bit all over the shop at the moment because my mouse is just going crazy. I don't know what it is. And maybe that had something to do with it. I'm not sure. No, it's still all over the place. Anyway, I'm back. So, Unreal Tournament launched with about 50 maps, as opposed to Quake 3 Arena, which launched with a fraction of that. And it was supported a lot of post-release sort of developer support through the addition of map packs. Essentially the proto DLC, except you didn't pay for them. The developers of Unreal Tournament identified a bunch of developers in the mod scene that were sort of pretty prolific. Picked out their favorite maps that were made with Unreal Ed, which is an editor that came with the game, and then added them to official map packs. So, in addition to that, Epic used to run a yearly competition called Make Something Unreal, which was a competition the Make Something Unreal competition was essentially a competition where a modder could submit their own map packs or their own maps, and then the Unreal devs would basically assess them, pick out their favorite ones, and then release them on their website with, sort of kudos from the developers. So in addition to the huge mod support that Unreal Tournament had, and the Make Something Unreal competition, Unreal Tournament, the modding scene was very much a way for people to get into the game dev industry. If you're a bit of a self-starter, you could willing to teach yourself a bit of Unreal Ed, a bit of C. You could make your name known in the scene, and a lot of modders actually went on to become full-blown game developers. Some of the games that have come out of the Unreal Tournament scene are now, we're talking big budget stuff now. Anyway, we're going to try a different game mode. So, when you get Unreal Tournament, you've got a few things you can do. So the first of all is start Unreal Tournament. This is where you create your own character, and essentially you move through the game modes. So this is a way where it takes you through Deathmatch, Domination, Capture the Flag, Assault. Those are the four main game modes in Unreal Tournament. And then there's the challenge levels. And once you beat all those, then you're considered the master of the so-called storyline of Unreal Tournament. That unlocks a special player model, so boss. So this is the boss of the game. and you can only access this once you've beaten the so-called single player of Unreal Tournament. But then there's all the other player models that you can play as. Not as imaginative as Quake 3 Arena's player models, but very cool nonetheless. The game modes. So right here we've got deathmatch or team deathmatch. So the same sort of selection of levels. Yes, a very subtle flex. And then you can see here's all the levels that come with the game, not including Affinity, the one I was just playing, which was a custom level. But I always have Affinity in my map rotation. You can get it on mapradar.com. Just search for Affinity Complex or DM Affinity. The lead designer of Unreal Tournament, Cliff Blazinski, aka Cliffy B, he used to run a website called Cliffy B's Ownage. Very 90s name there, and he picked out Affinity as one of his favorite multiplayer maps ever, and he said on his blog that he wished it was part of the original game. Right here you've got the Assault game mode. So this is Unreal Tournament's foray into objective-based modes. So this is, let's go Frigate. We'll stick with those players and let's go. So in this game mode, the two sides, one starts out defending, the other one starts out attacking, and you've basically got to, get through the objectives in as fast as you can, and then once you beat the objective, that's how much time you've got to defend it in the next round. So Star Siege Tribes was sort of the first game to really create the whole objective-based multiplayer, and this was Unreal's attempt at it. It's a fun mode, but it's fun in multiplayer. In single player with bots, which is basically the main way you're going to play these days. There's not that many servers, but there are still a few. The bots tend to be either too good or too crap for this game mode to work. Depends on the map and the bot pathing for the map. So I just had to destroy something there. Now we move up into the next part. My mouse is freaking out. It's occasionally like... And there we go. That's that level beaten. So this is sort of their foray into objective-based levels. And there's some quite cool levels. So a frigate was always a favorite of mine, as is Overlord. This is basically your sort of Saving Private Ryan type thing. You storm the beach and you've got to get into the base and take it over. Next mode is Capture the Flag. So if you played the demo, which is actually very, very popular, it featured Deathmatch, Capture the Flag, and Domination. Corrit Facility, this level right here, this was one of the Capture the Flag maps that came with the demo. And because of that, Corrit Facility's always got a I've always had a bit of a soft spot for it because I first played UT99. Oh, you stole my armor, you bastard. Whoa. So what was I saying? Yeah, I like Corrit Facility. It's pretty balanced. It's got lots of little hidey holes. And I first played the demo. It was on a PC Power Play disc. And basically all the maps in that PC Power Play or that demo that I played are, a few of my favorites. This Capture the Flag sort of started back in Quake days as a mod for Quake, and then it was a very popular mod for Quake 2, and then by the time Quake 3 Arena and Unreal Tournament had arrived, it had become this official game mode in 90% of first-person shooters. The bots in Unreal Tournament I've got them on sort of auto adjust skill at the moment. At the higher end, they're lethal. The bot AI and pathing and all that sort of work that the devs did is just absolutely staggeringly good. And a lot of the servers that are still running today, they'll have bots sort of step in to fill the empty spots, and they'll challenge high-end players. So let's check out the next game mode. So anyway, Capture the Flag, you can see there's quite a few levels there. We'll come back to my favorite of all time. We've got Last Man Standing, which is essentially deathmatch with all the weapons, and you've just got one life. Domination. Domination is a cool mode. We'll go to Tomb of Sesma. Domination is where you have teams that try to keep control of control points, and while they're in control of a control point, they earn points. I'm seriously just spawning in the one location, it looks like. So you can see the icons on the left. It tells you which team is in control of which point. Our team is currently in control of none. Now it's in control of one. Domination is quite a fun mode. I think it sort of gets overlooked a bit. Wait, what the hell? This mouse, damn. I think Domination gets overlooked quite a lot. It is a lot of fun. It's a good mix of Capture the Flag and deathmatch, really. And let's not forget the good old translocator. Whoop. So this little device, you can telefrag people if you're an elite player. I'll try and do it. I probably won't be able to. But basically, if you can teleport into the same location where someone's standing, you'll frag them. So pretty cool game mode. Quake 3 Arena sort of in the competitive scene probably had a bit more staying power. Whereas Unreal Tournament had, I guess it was the everyman shooter. It wasn't so, the player base wasn't so hardcore, it was a bit more diverse, but there was a lot more mod support for Unreal Tournament, I found at least. So there was the Infiltration mod, which is kind of like a realistic Arma or Operation Flashpoint type mod, super realistic. You had, can't remember what the name of it was, Urban Assault or something like that, and it was kind of like a spin on Counter-Strike or Action Quake. And then it had all these elements to the game, so the mutators here, for example. So let's go to a very, very popular mutator mode, which was Deathmatch on... I don't know if you can see my mouse is sort of like jumping around like crazy every now and then. Anyway, that's what I'm dealing with. So Morpheus with the Instagib mutator. Morpheus is a really, 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 really cool level. It's already got some low gravity. You can add additional low gravity to it if you want. So Instagib is basically a game mode where everyone has this weapon, the shock rifle, except it's super powered. So it's an instant kill. This was one of the most popular sort of, I guess, kind of novelty game modes that people would play. Heaps of fun. A really cool level as well. Well, it was so popular that they remade it for Unreal Tournament 2004 and also Unreal Tournament 3. Other mutators that you could have were stuff like Fat Boy. Fat Boy was really cool. So with Fat Boy, let's check it out. And let's go on Deck 16-2. So Deck 16 was an Unreal 1 level, and Deck 16-2 is a Unreal Tournament 2 Unreal Tournament remake. So with this mutator, each time you get a kill, your character becomes fat. And each time you die, your character becomes skinnier. So what ends up happening is the hitbox for a character who's doing it, playing well, becomes larger and larger and larger. While players who are suffering become skinnier and skinnier and skinnier to the point where you almost can't see them. And the mutators are essentially, they're mini mods. Miniature mods. So they're mods that tweaked the gameplay in small ways rather than, massive overhauls of how things run. And you probably can't see it because, there's skinny person. This guy's looking quite large. I'm probably looking a bit fat by now. He's looking quite large. So the better you played, the easier you were to hit, and the worse you played, the harder you were to hit. So it was a cool way of balancing things, I guess. My favorite weapon. Well, I'll just have a look at a cool little feature in the Unreal Tournament, which I haven't seen in a shooter since, really. In the preferences here, you've got the weapons. And it's basically a list of all the weapons in the game and, a description of what they are, what they do. The good old Redeemer. The cool thing about this list is you can drag things around to... let's move the translocator up. You can drag things around to essentially set your own weapon priority. So when you're playing a first-person shooter, a lot of the time you'll come across a weapon and, if the game thinks it's a higher number weapon or a more powerful weapon, it'll automatically switch you to that weapon. In Unreal Tournament, you could set your priority based on what you wanted. So Redeem is always great. It's a handheld nuke. But my favorite was always the flat cannon, followed by the minigun, and then the pulse gun or the rocket launcher, depending on my mood. Shock rifle, Ripper, sniper rifle, bio rifle, double enforcers, single enforcer, chainsaw, translocator, impact hammer. It was a pretty cool feature. It's one of those things that was a small detail. It made you know, it wasn't hard for them to add in, but it was just one of those small details that you know, it made Unreal Tournament that it was that multiplayer system. You know, you could really customize your character. You could customize your deathmatch experience to be what you wanted it to be. So you had players that would specialize in something like the shock rifle because they were really good at doing that 1-2 secondary fire and primary fire. Whereas you'd have other players that were, you know, specialists in the, you know, the sniper rifle or whatever. All right, now let's have a look at this level right here. This is, in my opinion, the best multiplayer level ever made for any game ever, by a long shot. CTF Face. Let's capture the flag map. It's really, really simple. One big hill, two sides, snipers up the top of the towers, big open ground. Let's blast these guys. Yes. The great thing about CTF Face was being a sniper. It's pretty much open season. As you can see, the flag's right here. Here's the entrance. So it's really easy to get to the flag. But it's really hard to get to the enemy base. You have the snipers set up the top here. And you've got basically, it's like a killing field down there. But the interesting thing about this is, while you have snipers up here that are sort of causing havoc for the enemy team, on the other side, you've got the other snipers. Now the bots are pretty crap, so they don't shoot at each other. But in multiplayer, you'd basically have snipers taking pot shots at one another, in addition to trying to take out the flag carrier. Got him. Uh-oh. Oh, no. No one's getting that flag. See how my reflexes are going these days. Yes, it's been returned. All right. So the interesting thing about this is, in addition to the fact that you had snipers taking pot shots at one another, you'll notice that the teleporter to get up onto the roof was behind the sniper. It's very, very easier in this level to get sniper rifle tunnel vision, trying to get that monster kill streak. And you wouldn't realize it, but one of the enemy players would get into the base and come up behind you, and because you had sniper rifle tunnel vision, god damn it, they'd come up behind you and they'd get an easy kill. Let's get the Redeemer. This is the UT's take on the rocket launcher was really cool. So individual rockets did a lot less damage, but you could load up several of them. Of course, that took time. And so the rocket launcher was, in Quake, the rocket launcher was very much a, you know, if you got the rocket launcher, it was game over for most people. Whereas in Unreal Tournament, it wasn't such a one-sided weapon. The weapon balance in Unreal Tournament is awesome. So even with a pistol, you could cause quite a bit of havoc against a player that had something like the rocket launcher. This is also the era when we sort of started to see the popularization of secondary fire modes. So for example, Quake, you had one fire mode. That was it, whereas Unreal Tournament, most all weapons have 2 fire modes. As you can see, this is the put the weapon on its side, look like a gangster. And there's an in-game lore reason as to why that's better, which is kind of funny. According to the lore of Unreal Tournament, the Enforcer handgun had a special balancing mechanism in it, so that when it was tilted on its side, it would increase the rate of fire. I love the fact that the developers came up with the story as to why it made sense to turn a gun on its side when you were firing it, other than to look cool. We'll go back to deathmatch mode. And I'll check out another one of my favorite deathmatch levels, Phobos. So this, if you played the demo, you would probably recognize this one. Awesome level, really well balanced. It's got this central sort of well here, I guess, and the level is built around it, and it creates a really cool dynamic of, you've got this sort of hallway battle, but then in the center you've got this sort of big Z-axis battle. Z-axis being the up-down axis, at least in multiplayer design sense. This damn mouse. We'll have a quick look at multiplayer. So, multiplayer is, there are still servers out there. So if you do pick up this game on GOG or Steam, preferably GOG, support GOG because they're DRM free, you will still find some servers. I tried to get my server up and running, hosted on Amazon Web Services, as I previously had one set up, but I got stuck and I couldn't get it to populate in the master server list. But as you can see, sorting by ping, latency, there's still a few servers out there. As you can see, Quake Jump Arena. So popular thing was for modders to recreate Quake 3 maps in Unreal Tournament and vice versa. Quake 3 maps are awesome. There's no doubt about that. So yeah, it was great to be able to play them in Unreal Tournament. So here we go. Now this particular server, unfortunately, doesn't look like there's any bots. So a lot of the servers you can set up, they get set up so that, say there's 10 players, if there's ever less than 10 players, then bots fill up the empty spots. So you've always got 10 players in the game. But keep an eye out on Facebook. I'll probably try and get my server up and running again. Some of the servers run custom content that you'll download. Let's see if this works. Who knows how much content there is. pass. I got stuck on that last time. Now, one other little detail I'll mention in here is the bots. Now, I mentioned before that the bots are pretty awesome. Well, here's the list of bots. So when you populate a match, basically you can set their skill, which goes from novice all the way up to godlike. Godlike is scary. Auto adjust skill, depending on how well you're playing. The skill will go up and down in that sort of range. And then random order. So random order is you can set the number of bots, and if you tick random order, it will pick bots randomly from this list of 32. This is where Unreal Tournament was awesome as far as offline play goes, and I think why it sort of survived all these years is whereas other multiplayer shooters have sort of they've slowly died out. I think you can still have fun with Unreal Tournament after all these years because you can customize the bots so much. So it feels like you're playing against humans. So as you can see, you can set individual skins for them, of course. You can also set their name. The positioning of the bots in the window there is a bit odd. You can't see their face, but that's just because of the resolution I'm running. You can set their team preference. So you can set their skill there. You can set a favorite weapon. So if you set a favorite weapon, the bot will prioritize using that weapon to the expense of all others. And then you can set something like their accuracy with it. You can set how alert they are, so how much they respond to stuff happening around them. You can set how often they like to camp or sit in one position and not move. And then strafing, so how much they move left or right while they're fighting. Also their fighting style. Aggressive. Berserk is essentially aggressive but without any care for their own health. Cautious, they'll sort of retreat if they get damaged a bit, and avoidant is they'll tend to retreat as much as possible. Jumpy behavior, how much they jump. And have we got a player? Pataya. Oh, we've got another human player. Here we go. It's on. Let's see how I go with this sketchy mouse. It's been a while since I've played a person. Oh no. What a nong. So a lot of the time if you do jump on a multiplayer server, you know, somebody might... Oh, there they are. I'm going to try and hide. If you jump on a multiplayer server, you know, they might see you and they might be tempted to jump on. So, especially if you pick like a server with bots, I reckon jump on for a bit, play. You know, you might have another human that's just sort of, uh-oh. Oh, survived it. You might have another human that will spot you, whoa, and decide to jump in as well. This player, Pataya, that's not anyone on the stream, is it? Damn, this mouse. Oi. Alright. Back. Where are they? Where'd they go? Where'd they go? Where'd they go? Where'd they go? Uh-oh. Oh. Oh. Where'd they go? Hey. Got him. I need some health pretty quick. So there we have it, Unreal Tournament. So worth checking out if you pick it up pretty much any time these days. It'll come included with the 4 main map packs that Epic released over the course of the game. So that'll take up your total number of maps in the game up to around 120. And then there is that Unreal Map Pack 5, which is also official, but for some reason most releases, digital distribution releases these days don't include it for some reason. That also included 2 mods, Chaos UT and Rocket Arena UT, which Rocket Arena has become, its own game now. Originally started as a Quake mod. And then it also comes with a bunch of additional multiplayer maps. Definitely worth picking up. You pick it up for about $15, and if you do pick it up, let me know. I'm always keen to jump into a game of multiplayer UT. But until next time, thanks for watching. Hopefully I don't have any connection issues next time, or any audio issues, or any mouse issues. I'm not sure what the next game will be. If you've got any ideas, let me know. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. And see you later.